Call the meeting to order. Make sure that your cell phones are either on off or vibrate. Let's say the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Approve the minutes from last meeting.
I did point out to Chris now that there's one small, left the Y off the county.
So, yeah, we'll fix that. It's on top of the
Second
second page.
yeah. Otherwise, I move we approve the minutes from last meeting.
Second.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from last meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Payroll and bills to be paid. Payroll's been approved and submitted to Chris. Bills to be paid. Francis is not here, but Chris would request that we have a motion to approve the minutes, or to approve the bills upon Franny's approval.
Okay, what is display sales for $2,000?
That's our Christmas
For the new streetlights.
decoration. Christmas decorations for the new street lights. Thank you, Rick. I can spit that out.
I make a motion, we approve them as subject to Franny's okay.
Second.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the bills to be paid upon Franny's approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Joe, you're up. Old business. CDBG.
That didn't come out right.
This is just kind of
There we go.
a progress print, I guess. I mean, we still got quite a bit to add to it, but I just kind of want to keep you guys up to date.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't been here for a few of the meetings. See if you guys can.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Where do you get this building at, Joe? That's
There's some suppliers, and that's kind of through the electrical engineer too. You know, he's got some people that they work through, but this little building will be, I know it's a little out of order, but basically if you go to the very last page of the set there, that's the work that would be done up at the water tower. You know, right now it's kind of just works on a pressure gauge down at the plant now. I think isn't it old contacts, Rick? Once it goes down, it'll contact, keep the pumps on. Up in the upper right is where we're going to put this little fiberglass building. And inside that'll just be some electrical and control equipment. We will tap the existing main, that's that dark line there, we'll tap the existing main on the west side of the water tower. And you can see the 4 tower footings there. That'll just be a 3/4 inch copper service, which will come in that building and it'll be hooked to a pressure transducer. And then that'll send a signal. There'll be a little antenna that is mounted on this fiberglass building. This building's just going to be, I think, a 4x6, I think, is all the bigger it's going to be. And then that'll send the signal down once the pressure, you know, once it senses the tower gets down to a certain level, whatever we want to set it at. It'll send a signal down to the plant to kick the wells on and then kick the high surface pumps on.
How are those, that antenna, where does that send it? Where's that, does it go to a satellite and then bounces back? Or?
No, it'll be just a direct, there'll be another receiving antenna down like at the treatment plant. So it'll just communicate between.
So we won't have to rely on telephone cables or anything like that?
Correct.
So it'll be a direct. So
And then the new well down at the airport, that'll use like a radio transmitter, you know, almost like it'll almost be like a handheld radio, more or less, is how that'll communicate back to the treatment plant for that to run.
These all have battery backup and all that.
Correct, yep. And it should be a lot more reliable, I guess, or a lot more accurate, you know, as far as kicking on and off. Should be pretty trouble-free also. If we just want to go through the sheets, they're kind of quick. Just that first one's the title sheet. We're going to call it the 2012 Water Distribution System Improvements Division 2. Well number 4 of all water main and water treatment plant electrical and control improvements. Next sheet is just general notes for the contractor to follow. They're pretty typical from job to job. And like I said, you guys can just kind of read through this. I don't want to take a lot of time. A sheet that we do need to add that we're working on would be the next sheet would be the different bid items that the contractor will be bidding on and descriptions of how they'd be paid. And then we would jump into our prime and profile sheets. This shows D1, that shows the route from the new well over by the airport. And like I said, we're going to be crossing the county pavement, or the pavement there, coming up the east side, and then we're going to follow the south side of the drainage ditch to the east. Next page just shows us going along the drainage ditch. Then the third page of that is where we turn, and we would go north underneath the ditch, with directional bore underneath the ditch, and then we would push a bore and jack a 14-inch steel casing underneath the railroad, insert the hose pipe, and then we're going to connect in right there north of the existing well house. And we'll just connect into the existing line that's going from the well house now up to the treatment plant.
What's the 200-foot radius there?
That's what I talked to a directional bore, you know, as far as how sharp they can come up. Somebody told me like 180 degrees is about the sharpest they can.
Yeah.
So then I just backed it off a little
That's a
bit. Just-
200-degree radius, then, you know.
Yeah. And that way they should be able to get back under and back up and then pull that pipe back
I
through.
see.
How's the talks with the railroad?
Well, Chris had done a lot of legwork with the permit as it is. I just need to get this submitted now, this plan and profile sheet with. I don't know if they're gonna need, I probably need to call them and find out if they need the whole set or if I can just send just this particular sheet that pertains to it, as long as they got all the information on it.
Yeah.
So we can get that sent in
Did you still have
ahead.
that sheet that I faxed to you?
Mhm.
Yeah, so basically they have a sheet that we have to fill out that tells all the specs and of the pipe and where we're gonna put it and what the casing's gonna be and we're gonna have somebody come down and flag it for a day or probably two while we're boring it.
Right.
So,
Is this a sleeve or casing or what, we're rolling the track or?
Correct, yep. Yeah, it'd be just a steel casing pipe.
Will DNR sign off on this to the railroad then?
Yeah, I mean, the DNR will approve it as is, and then we'll just have to get approval from the DNR as far as that, from the railroad as far as their permit.
So if DNR signs off, the railroad will say,
not necessarily.
Right, the railroad, I mean, you gotta have a certain thickness of casing, you know, you gotta show that you're gonna have a,
The railroad's kind of its own
yeah, a little entity, yeah.
baby.
right,
Yeah.
but, yeah,
But once the
chance,
DNR says, yeah, then it's more apprehensive that the railroad will say yes.
right, as long as we're meeting their specs too. Next sheet is just a couple details, and we'll have a few more. This pig launching manhole, this will be just east of the new well. And the reason for that manhole is, like Rick talked, you know, we got a lot of iron in the water, so there's chances that we're gonna have to come in and get that, clean that once in a while. You know, and that'll be kind of a, I guess we'll have to see, you know, how often that needs to be done, if it's every 2 years, if it's every year, every 6 months. But basically, this manhole would just be an access to go down in there and we'd pull off the cap of that Y, shove that, it's like a poly, the pig that they call it, it's just a poly plug almost that we could shove down in that Y, put the cap back on, turn the well on, and that well pressure then should push it down the line, cleaning the inside of the pipe, pushing our sludge to the east end.
How big would that manhole be, roughly?
48-inch diameter.
48, okay,
Mhm.
so I couldn't find it on
And that says on there 48.
Oh, there's down here.
And then on the right hand of the sheet is kind of the pigging retrieval port. That would be, if you want to go back to the last plan and profile sheet, page prior, that's going to be right before we connect into the line on the north side of the well. See how we got
Page
that?
prior, is that what you said?
Yes, yep. We're right north of the well building where we're connecting in. We've got, as the line's coming from the south, we're gonna have a manhole there with a flow meter in it. And then we'll have a T where we turn. So then we're gonna have a, everybody following?
I think we gotta go another page.
No, I think you're right there.
Should be right, I'm looking for where the T is.
Here's where that pigging port would be,
Oh,
right here.
Okay.
So in other words, when that plug comes through, this valve will be shut, and this actually kind of angles up and come out of the, I guess if you go to this next
It's on
detail.
the west side of the building.
Yes, west side of the building. See, this will be coming up out of the ground,
Mm-hmm.
so then you could pull that cap off.
So then we retrieve it there and then we have to take it back to the,
Right,
well, next
yeah,
time.
if,
Yeah.
depending on how many times,
right here, yeah.
yeah, right here,
Yep.
it'll come out of the ground.
Yep, yep.
You guys on that?
I think we're right here.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, that pig will come out of here, and this actually angles and comes up out of the ground. So that's where you retrieve it.
Well, that comes up out of the ground, huh?
Yes, this
Oh,
piece
up
would be
here.
sticking up out of the ground. If you go to that next sheet on that detail,
Over here, we've got the railroad track.
see it would come up out of the ground.
2 foot it says. Yeah, that one.
And the thought process, that's where all your sludge will come out.
So then it'll push that.
And the
out.
only thing is, I mean, I think I talked to Rick a little bit, that would be valved, and then, you know, since that's sticking up out of the ground, it could freeze. As long as we got that valve shut, they'll probably have to get like a trash pump or something, and just stick down into that pipe, get all the water out so that water doesn't freeze in there. You know, after said and done.
Yeah, we've got a pump, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a problem.
But like I said, you know, we might do it once a year, you know, it's not gonna be very often. Just have to kind of play it by ear and see how it is. I think like Rick said, the big concern's probably gonna be that going underneath that ditch, you know, if that's gonna be a place where some of that wants to kind of settle out, depending on how often we're gonna have to run it. Okay, the next couple sheets, which are the photos. That's just showing the piping within the well house. And we're gonna abandon well number 2, which I guess is just on the edge of the picture to the right. We'll abandon that. And then the pipe in the middle there, that's coming up, it's got 3 well on the fitting there. Do you guys see that? Kind of a magic pipe.
Yeah.
That's the well outside, comes in and it comes up through the floor, up through this pipe, and then it'll go back down through the floor to the left. Yep. Yeah, well number 2's over here. But now well number 3 will come in, and then it goes back out and back up to the treatment plant. So basically, from the well number 3 piping, that's all gonna be gone. We'll abandon that well. So we'll basically just have the well number 3 pipe come in, and then back down through the floor and out. But we'll replace all that piping. Only thing we're saving is the flow meter, and they're in the gray. And then the fittings that are kind of on top there, see the very top there, it's got the hand wheel gate valve and the pressure gauge. It's kind of got the fire hose hook. Rick said that's not very old, we'll just reuse that, but they use that kind of to clean the well, right? Or when they're working on the well number 3.
Use it to flush the well out.
So we'll just hook that back on after we replace all these other fittings. And that next sheet kind of shows the yellow would be pretty much the stuff that's going to be new, basically.
Joe, we're gonna run these wells, what, intermediate, back and forth?
Yes, that was a thing, we talked a little bit with the electrical engineer. Right now, I think you guys just kind of switch and then one runs a while. What they're gonna add in, or what we suggested, or what he suggested to add in, is to have them alternate automatically. You know, they don't want to worry about manually doing it, you know, run one for 2 weeks and then go switch it over to the other one. When it calls for the wells to turn on, it'll automatically alternate like that. It'll call for one well, and when everything shuts down and it calls for the wells to start up again, then it'll start the other well. but it automatically, that way you kinda,
That makes sense.
well,
Kinda.
Rick kinda made the comment too, though, I mean, then you're kinda wearing both wells out at the same time, your motors, but, you know, sometimes if you're manually doing it too, you might have a 1 month where it's running a lot harder than the other one too, so I don't know what's the lesser of two evils, but typically that's what you do, you'd have it automatically alternate. And there'll be other sheets that we'll add in here kinda as we go, hopefully here this next month, so we're ready for the December, first meeting there in December, but the electric engineer will have the sheets as far as in the plant. And like I said, we don't have them, I don't have any from him yet, he's working on that. Everything inside the plant's gonna get, all the electrical will get redone. Right now, I think all the panels are kind of against the west wall, we're gonna go against the south wall. Be all new controls, all new disconnects. Generator's gonna be just off the northeast corner of the building.
We're gonna have an opportunity to look at cost on this, or
Yes,
yeah,
we will have that meeting December, we'll have a cost estimate on that.
okay. And then we're gonna bid it sometime in January, probably.
Well, the thought process is that December, your first meeting in December, is it the 8th or the 9th?
Usually we have a meeting in December right around the 16th.
Oh, okay,
So, depending on how that all works out, we kinda try to have one right in the middle.
all right. Thought process is the second meeting in January is when we'd like to have bids back.
Yeah.
So we would set that bid date for your second meeting in January at the December meeting. We would, same thing, we'll have all the sheets at that point, kind of go through things again. And if there are some small changes, you know, that Rick or Mark or any guys see, we would make those changes probably that next week. And then we turn around and start sending plans out to, or at least send notices out to contractors that we know or we have worked with before, and let them know plans are ready. And then it'll also go in the paper too. But typically we like to send notices out to contractors that we know or we have worked with in the area. And that way they can kind of get a jump on it instead of waiting to find it in the paper. So,
Is that enough time to allow,
yeah, I mean, they should have about a month, you know, so
okay,
that should be plenty.
okay.
A lot of times they probably don't look at it until 2 weeks before the bid, you know, it seems like. But that's just kind of, like I said, a rough, just to let you know kind of where we're at. Like I said, I know the electric engineer's working on his stuff, so there'll be some sheets coming on his and specs. And we got a
Questions
few
or
sheets.
discussion for Joe?
Okay.
No,
No, thanks, Joe.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, new business, City of Lakeview, Scott Peterson, Kenny Steinkamp, John Westergaard.
Yes, I've got Mr. Lon Boos tonight instead of John Westergaard.
Up, guys.
Go ahead. I want to talk with you, with the mayor and council, about this, the concept of purchasing a sewer generator. The city of Lakeview's been looking into this. We've been discussing this idea for the past few months. And see that you have the photo of what that would look like. So over here we have the sewer jetter that could basically take care of any of the maintenance needs that we would have on our municipal system. The machine itself, maybe Lon can explain a lot more than I can, but you're just looking at a 40-gallon per minute machine that sprays it up to 2,000 psi. You know, and it's all done by water. So as you're pulling it back, that's when it's cleaning the inside of your sewers. You always go so that you're pulling it back downstream and keep moving the sludge along the way. What we've found is that our costs for sewer main cleaning, you know, are pretty substantial, and we want to look at purchasing this machine for you know, for cost reasons, but then also for customer service reasons, and anytime that you can avoid a prolonged sewer blockage, I think that's a valuable asset, really, that you can provide to your citizens. So Well, the concept is though that the machine costs right at $50,000 to buy. This is one of those machines that's not in use all the time, and it's one of those machines that can really be a good example of some sharing opportunities. So that's why we sure would like to talk with Wall Lake and see if this is something that kind of fits in with any of your priorities or any of your goals. Because, like I said, the machine costs $50,000, and sharing, I think, can be very prudent and can work very well.
You know, I think we've talked about it a little bit as a council. We haven't had a lot of time to really digest it, you know. And I think I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we need to look a little more at our costs. See how that all looks. You guys.
What, it don't do any grinding or nothing, it's just strictly water?
Just
There's
water.
no, if you had
We'll talk
roots,
about that a little bit.
will she take the roots out?
It will take roots out it's basically a hydraulic motor that's run instead of oil. You dump oil in it before you start. Then the water pressure is actually 2,000 pounds of pressure. That's what it takes to turn a hydraulic motor. And there's a set of blades on there just like a rotor-rooter machine would have. And they're replaceable blades, but they're almost like a hook, 2 blades, and that thing is singing when it goes through there. I mean, it's singing. And then the water pressure will push it up. And then when you pull it back, the blades are spinning when they go up too. But then when you pull it back, they're also spinning, cutting them as you come back too. Now there's 100 different cutters out there.
All right.
But that particular one, I believe, is around $2,500 for that cutter. Which is a high maintenance deal. That part of it is probably your highest maintenance
The
cutter.
Patriot cutter, is that what you're talking about, Lon? We've got the costs on here. It's
Yeah.
4 to 15-inch saws, is that right?
Yeah,
So is that just one?
one, yeah. Now, and then the knives aren't that much. That's the motor.
Oh.
With a set of knives. And then, of course, the knives are probably gonna run you, I didn't ask him about that, but I'm guessing 50 to 60 bucks a piece, somewhere in there.
Well, we had one high power deal this year, it cost us about $5,000 to grind out the roots. But, you know, we don't have that every year. It's been years since we did that, and we had to get it dug out this year, but that was about a $5,000 program there, but
Yeah.
On a
See,
storm sewer.
on a storm sewer, see?
Yeah, and we've had them jet storm sewers out for us too. And, it'll pull that sand right back, but you need a back truck then too, to suck that
Right.
sand and get it out of there, you know. Which our city has a back truck, and I think you guys use it, or does Corn Belts has one?
What size pipe does this clean? What's from the
Yeah,
smallest to
clean all the way
15?
up to our 13-inch, we had a 13-inch main going down there to clean that too.
Okay, what's the smallest that'll go in?
4-inch,
4-inch.
yeah.
It won't do 18 then? Won't have
Oh, it
to?
might, yeah.
What we got is that, storm sewer's 18 we're running in that one.
You're talking root cutter blades?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about that. You'd need to talk with Brian on that, the
It
sales.
says 4 to 15 here.
Yeah. That might be for that particular motor, Daryl.
Right.
You know, there might be
Right.
a bigger one out there. I'm not sure about that. You know, our biggest is 13-inch.
One thing I like about that, as the council, we discussed a little bit, was that we'd be a little more proactive by trying to stay ahead of our problems. Every city knows where their certain trouble spots are, and Lime knows where ours are at. And the feeling is that if we dedicate, one of the things as a council, we approached Lon and Scott to make sure that we had a plan in place that we could, you know, do our troubleshooting as we go along, keep moving along towards our end goal of not having any block backage. You know, this thing runs 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you know, we're gonna have problems someplace. And I hopefully as a council, we've tabled this a couple different times. It is a lot of money, but we thought, you know, we've been co-op membership with you guys over the police force. Thinking this might be an opportunity for you guys to get some input and have something that can service both of our towns. So, you know, keep in mind that we're here to work with you, and ain't trying to do anything but help us both out.
Well, obviously, the best time to do it would be the 8 months, so it's pretty nice weather, you know,
Yeah.
and if we could work out a deal where we were gonna do some, routine maintenance during those, we'd have to coordinate those pretty well, you know, but
Sure, yeah.
not saying it couldn't be done, you know.
Yeah, operation of it basically is with two people, and that's having one guy go popping manholes. You know, that basically does operate it. But certainly, you know, we would intend to do it with the existing staff.
Rick, can you run this?
Not as good as mine, probably can.
You know, we had the guy come up there and, you know, we've worked with Pete Howell for years and we've always been with him. You know, it's a pretty simple operation. When you get that hydraulic cutter on there, you might want to know what you're doing on there and not be going out there 400 feet and thinking that, you know, we're going to pull this back, because we've dug up sewers before where Pete Howell was in and got it stuck in there a couple times. You know, so things can happen. But 90% of the things you're going to be doing is with a jet, with just water. And there, like I say, there's numerous different cutters for that. When Pete Howell comes in, we very seldom use the hydraulic cutter. Usually it's got enough pressure and enough water to rip them roots out. And he'll tell us if there's a lot of roots, and we do a program every year. We use a product called Rootex, and it's $400 a block, but it does work. It foams up when it hits there, and it completely encases that main in a chemical that kills that root.
Are you looking at a shared ownership or what?
Yeah, I guess the concept is a shared ownership, and you know, it's X% Lakeview, Y% Wall Lake, however you might think that would need to be. You know, we've talked about maintenance then, and maintenance, probably just looking at the machine, saying all maintenance for the machine, again, X% to Lakeview, Y% to Wall Lake, however that might pan out, with one exception. Lon would really suggest that each one of us would own our own jet. That if that is the thing that is most likely to have some problems, and it's the part that is subject to operator error, you know, or however that might be. But
That's what's going to get the hose and the cutters are your wearing parts.
anyway, that's kind of where we're at.
And it wouldn't be bad to have a second one of those on hand somewhere anyway,
There you go.
you know?
And as a member of the council, you know, we come here, we don't expect you to just come up with an answer right tonight, but give it some real serious thought so that if we can make something happen. What is the lead time on purchasing one of these? I mean, how long does it take to get one? Do they have one on hand? I guess, God, I didn't know.
It was not very long,
No,
so.
no.
So, I mean, you know, you guys talking about your budget and stuff, responsibility, I understand that 100%, but we wanted to just make sure we brought it to here that we do want to work with you and try to benefit both communities. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think it's that important, so.
So what kind of a lead time would you be looking for us, Whitey? I mean, do you want an answer within a month, 6 weeks, 2 months?
I would like to have it before the end of the year.
Yeah, that'd be great, because that'll help us with budgeting then as we prepare for next year too.
And
Yeah, this is an amount of money that we certainly would wanna have on the budget.
What are we looking at?
we
So
don't
many, if we're looking at a shared deal or so many feet of sewer line for each town or something like that, and that would be the percentage, or how would you?
I think you just run it off the hour meter, would you not?
I think the hour meter, because, you know, you may want to run up that line 2 or 3 times. You know, Pete Howell, when they come in and help us, if he thinks it's a trouble spot, he'll run up that line 3 times. Then he knows he's got to clean when he leaves. So, you know, you may only do 20 blocks in a day, and we might get 15 done in a day, you know, so. If you go off the hour meter, I think that's the fairest way to do it. And you can have a little log book in there, and, you know, it isn't hard to keep track of that.
I mean, what does that mean though? I mean, so we got a price here of 50,000. How does that work? Do we split that? I mean, we split that as a percentage somehow.
Yeah.
But then what about the hours? I mean, we get it for 50 hours, you guys get it for 50 hours. What does that mean?
Well, I guess what I was looking at, Scott, if you don't mind me, is a maintenance issue.
Maintenance issue,
You
right.
know,
Okay.
When it
say the
comes to
hose
maintenance,
wears
they're
out.
using-
You guys used it 100, we used it 200, and we
Okay.
paid
Yeah.
200 hours of that hose cost.
Right.
Yeah, that would be, that would be the maintenance clause that we're looking
Yeah.
at. I'm looking at the initial cost or whatever too.
That would be a 50/50 then, Scott?
No, it'd be the
Yeah.
hours.
However, the hours would break out on usage.
They use 100, we use 50, they'll pay the
So
100.
that's maintenance.
Yeah,
That's,
maintenance.
no, I mean the initial
You don't have
cost.
any hours.
So it costs $50,000.
I'm talking about purchasing first.
You
yeah.
don't
What's
have
Fall
any
Lake
hours
share
to begin
versus
with,
Lake
you
East
still
share?
gotta buy it.
I would say
That,
that's
of course,
still
that's
open
true.
to
I'm just talking
negotiation,
about maintenance.
you know.
We've talked about 50/50, we've talked about 60/40.
Right.
We had one councilman say 75/25, so, I mean, there's been some things thrown out.
I think that's what you as a council got to determine.
we gotta
What
figure
kind of
out.
value you put towards it. And again, sitting here on the other end of it, you know, if we could work together on it, that's, I think, both ahead. Again, I keep telling you this, but it's just, it's always gonna be there. It's not gonna go away.
That's something I'm sure we want to discuss.
Sure, no doubt, there's no doubt about that. But we thought it was worth bringing it to your attention, and what happens, then we'll be glad to, but if
So-
you could get before us, so we could do some planning ourselves, if you're interested or not interested, you know, that's up to you guys to let us know. And that way we can move forward with what we want, if we plan on proceeding too, so.
I think then maybe what our action should be is, we should talk amongst ourselves and find out what questions we have.
Sure.
Get those questions to you, Scott.
Sure. Yeah.
And, I mean, you guys have some questions out of our questions and we just talk back and forth. And I don't
Yeah.
think this is a really long, drawn out process. I mean, I think we can have a decision in the next couple of meetings pretty easy.
Sure.
Really.
You know, the other thing I'd offer to you is we get that salesman and have him come back up here again, and that will answer
Bring it here.
your questions by watching it work. I mean, it was enlightening to watch that thing work.
It's really probably not a bad idea to do that.
probably
Let
like
us
ours.
talk about it, and I'm sure we'll come up with some questions, and if we can get that guy here.
Sure.
And I would tell you that I believe we are interested,
Good.
just to what degree,
Yeah.
so.
Sounds great.
Appreciate it.
Do
Thank you,
appreciate it
guys.
very much.
Thanks for coming over, guys.
Thank you.
One other completely different item, I just want to throw that out to you, and you start to put it right here in the back of your head, is that the police contract expires at the end of June. And this is another thing that really needs to be addressed during budget time. So it's a couple months off now, but if we can do that during budget time, it's best time to get that addressed.
So we should just put those on the same plate and talk about them.
Yep,
I thought that was
Alrighty.
a long-term agreement we had.
it is long-term, till the end of June of 14.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for these guys before they leave, before they take off?
Nope.
Any questions, council? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
If you guys purchase it, we can just use it too. couldn't we?
By the hour?
Come up here.
How much a foot are you charging?
I like it by the hour.
Same amount.
Okay, before we disembark there, Kenny, you want anything to add, or did you say anything, or? Okay, we'll move on. Discuss FY 2013 Annual Financial Report, first draft.
Yeah, so you guys also have one of these if you want to look in your documents where you get your packet from. There's a thing called an AFR 2013 on a Excel spreadsheet. So you can go in there and look at the whole thing and actually play with it a little bit if you want to. It's up to you.
Well, done, yeah, Chris, or-
Well, okay, let's just go there, Ray. Good question. Minimize down your packet
What page?
and open up your It says my documents on it, I think, in most of them. Hit this button right here, right, to make it bigger.
This- Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
just this one.
Yep, that one right there. Okay, so it should say AFR
Here it is, here.
2013, that's
Oh,
12,
13.
it should say 13.
AFR 2013.
Going up a little bit. It should
Or
be-
page.
Where? Hit the
There,
circle
right
here.
there, right at the very top. Double click on that and then you'll be able to see.
There's a square in the middle.
Right there.
Second page, there you go. I want to
Right there?
minimize that, yep. Yeah, slide this over. Just get a hold of it and pull it over.
Where you at, Chris?
Gotta get it by the edge.
Minimize down your
Yeah, by the
packet,
edge, yeah.
Steve, and go to my documents. Then that, you should
No,
have,
You just gotta get it to move over. To get,
To my documents?
yep.
Yeah.
you see it?
Then under that, there's a AFR 2013.
Is this the same as the one you got there or not?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same one that's in the packet too, Ray,
Yeah.
only you can look at it and, you can change things if you want to, or.
There you go. Now get into my documents.
I see that first number, it looked like the same thing, that's what I wondered.
And then
Right there.
double click on it.
In here?
Yeah, then that one will come up over it.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Then you have to click OK on that.
Where's that at?
It'll come up here in a minute. Maybe.
So that's just a one page?
No, there's 13 pages. Look at the tabs at the bottom there, guys. There's 13 pages there.
Did push OK, right?
Yep.
Okay.
See all these tabs? All of those tabs have numbers in them, and all of those numbers came from,
3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah, came from the June 30, 2013 clerk's report.
Right.
So, you guys can look this over and I can print this out if anybody wants a copy of it printed out.
I think that's a better way, you can
Could you
get time
please,
to
yes.
study it a little better.
Yes.
That ain't all bad for this kind of thing.
No, I would like one too, please.
This pretty well shows out what we made, what we lost for the year and all the expenses and everything, right? All the way through?
Yeah,
Supposed to.
yeah, it does.
This has to be, when does that be published, Chris? This gotta be published last of this year, or?
It's gotta be published before, December 1st.
I say December.
So we've got a couple of meetings to be able to look at it.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I wanted to get it on this meeting so we could just
Yeah,
start talking about it.
I went through a lot of
Because
it
don't
today,
you
but
revise your
she's
budget
quite a
then,
bit to
fix
keep,
your-
to put all through.
running,
Right. That is something that we should do. We did not do it in the last year.
What?
Ray asked about revising your budget, if
Right.
you go over your budget.
We probably did on a few things.
Yeah,
you know. But
probably
I thought we were
did.
supposed to revise it.
And, the auditors are here today, so they'll let us know that, if that's something that we have to do. So we can look at that this year and do that. I'm not sure we're gonna go over on anything this year, but we might, you just never know.
Any questions for Chris?
But if you look at the errors tab, that's one really nice thing about this. They put a tab in here and they come up with the most popular errors, and there are none in this spreadsheet. So that at least tells me that everything adds up.
We're doing correctly.
So that's a good thing.
Our
But
numbers are correct, that helps.
so that's just
Means
something.
that everything adds up.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the numbers are correct.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're correct.
It's just nobody put any numbers in this paper.
There you go.
Just means that
We've made it add up.
we made them add up.
Nobody got caught yet.
So, Lynn's gonna get you guys a copy of this so you guys can look at it on paper, and that'll be an easier way to do it.
So this is the same thing. we had.
So you want us to go through this, and then if we get questions or
If you've
concerns,
got any questions, just go through it and scribble on it. If you got any questions, scribble on it, and then, you know, we'll have it on the next council meeting, and maybe we can okay it then, and maybe we can't. Maybe we can answer those questions then. But other than that, I really don't have anything specific to go over. The last page is kind of interesting. It shows all of our,
that's page 10.
page 13.
13.
I don't get a 13.
I don't either.
Sure
Oh,
you
yeah, I
do.
do too. I got a 13.
You gotta scroll over.
I'm on 13, yeah.
I tell you, I only get a page 10.
You gotta
Keep clicking on the side.
learn how to. Learn how to spreadsheet is all.
Huh?
This is
You just gotta
Excel.
learn how to run a spreadsheet is all.
This is Excel.
Go over here and,
Oh, that's the one.
there you go.
Where's that at?
Clear to the left. Clear to the left, and the arrows at the bottom.
To the right.
Yeah, but click the other one. No, see the arrows going left and right? Click
Yeah.
the right arrow. There you go. Now look.
Okay.
See, I was going over here all the time.
Oh, that just moves your page.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
You're the page that you're on back and forth.
Every program
I
runs
just put it
differently.
at the bottom one.
Yeah, and you can do that same thing too, right?
That's what I do on Excel all the time, 'cause I get different ones like that all the time.
No, especially computer people.
The last page, page 13, that has all of our long-term debt on it.
Around on them, but I'm not no
So
Yeah, I know.
computer genius, man.
that's
Terms.
kind of interesting because we paid off some debt and we got a little more debt and now we've got a little more that's not even on this spreadsheet. So next year this is gonna look quite a bit different.
A lot more.
But it also shows our debt limit is 1.8 million and we're at, as far as GO bonds, we're at about 800,000, 850,000.
Yeah,
So
so
we've got
a million to go.
plenty to go that, as far as that's
Well,
concerned.
let's get to with it. No.
It'll happen soon enough.
Not really what I meant, Gary.
Okay, shucks.
But, okay, so now if you guys wanna go back to the packet, I also have in there, underneath all of the annual financial report, I also have the clerk's report from June 30 in there. So if you guys have any questions about where a number came from, you can go back and look at it. Daryl, I'd appreciate if you weren't on your cell phone while I'm talking.
Just go on, buddy.
Go ahead and fire him.
Yeah. Not sure that I have that authority.
We're on the bubble sheet.
Page 20, if you're back in the packet.
I'm back in the van. I gotta figure out how to get there. Ready?
You dump it from here, just hit that line and it'll
Right there.
dump. No, the other one, yeah.
Okay, and then go back to right
Yeah,
here.
I actually
think.
just hit the X. I think you're already in the packet here.
Paper one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, that wouldn't be so terrible.
You can go to 2013 then.
All right, that'll be, I guess, then.
So what page you on?
No, I'm not.
20.
Get out of it.
Back in the
So I'm only
original.
2 pages off.
Oh, they're doing better than Gary's doing
Here,
then.
whatever.
He has got the first
And now
one.
go back.
Drop it out.
We gotta go to, right
Yeah,
here.
that's enough waiting for him going.
Yeah,
Oh, 2013.
like I said, I really don't have anything specific on
There we
that.
go, there we go.
Other than behind that
You
annual
gotta borrow
financial
money to pay
report
bills.
is the clerk's report from 2013, and that
Where
just,
to go?
that's where you get
Yeah.
all your answers for the annual
Yeah,
financial
yeah.
report from.
Mm-hmm.
Here, click right there and hold it down and scroll and move this way. There you go. Now hit that little button right
There,
there.
now we go.
No.
Oh,
All right, now double click on that.
yeah, right, yeah.
There you go.
There we go, now we're back.
Now hit this square. Not the X, the square. There you go.
Now we're good to go.
I just noticed there's all kinds of pencil marks on here.
Yep. There sure are.
I looked a lot
I'll
of
tell you,
them
when you look at that many numbers, Ray, you gotta cross them off, otherwise you're gonna add them back in. So, yeah, where
On
Ray's
both
talking
sides.
about, on the, well, I had to double check. On the first page there of the general fund, that's all the revenues, and some of those revenues get added together. The pool revenue, the park revenue, community center, wellness center, those get added together in certain bunches, and so that's why I had to check those all.
I noticed there's no police revenue here, there's all the revenue that they do then.
There really isn't any.
Unless,
They don't
unless,
write any tickets, so.
unless a ticket is actually written here in the city of
She
Wall
needs to
Lake.
understand she doesn't need to write any tickets.
I've been told not to
Yeah.
make a mess of my own nest.
Not that you can't write, I'm just.
Now, you got some neighbors down the street from you? Just
To the
down the
east,
street there?
to the east, not the south.
to the east?
To the
To
east.
the south.
No, leave the south alone.
Okay, let's move on. We'll have that on the next meeting after you guys have a chance to look that over.
What page you going to?
We're at 34.
I'm gonna have to have that.
34.
Challenge.
Unless you've got questions for Chris on the.
Yeah, if you've got some questions, which I doubt whether, I mean, looking at it
Until you
first
go
shot
through
like
this.
that, yeah, it's gonna be difficult to have questions right away, but.
There was one in there someplace. but I don't know.
Okay, any questions for Chris on that? We're gonna move to the discuss approve sergeant drilling well jetting and service for well number 3 and south well. Page 32, if you wanna look at that.
Just left.
How long since we done them wells?
Oh, I don't know,
This
it's been a
summer,
couple of years for sure.
been that long?
Yeah, I don't think they've done it in my term.
I got 34, Steve, does that sound right to you?
Oh, 34, I'm sorry, yeah. What did I say, 32? It's 34.
So 34, you guys saw in the last meeting, it just says that, you know, we came in and we looked at your wells and they're both running inefficiently compared to where they could be. And then if you go to page 36, that is a bid to AquaJet well number 3, which is the well that we use to supply the city with water. I highlighted the video survey. I don't know if we need that done, if we have that done every time.
Yeah.
That's $1,000. So, you know, that could be something we take out of there.
Well, I think that they need the video survey to see if they did it all right, but I don't know that
Oh, you
we
mean-
need to pay for it.
That's where
Clean
you
it and then they survey it.
Yeah, and why wouldn't they look at it after they clean it to see if it's clean, as long as they got the equipment? Why the hell should we pay for it? We hired them to,
That's $1,000.
I know, we hired them to clean it, so
I thought you had to.
prove to us
highlight
that
it.
it's clean.
Is this done with the camera, or what's this done with?
The video is.
Video is?
Video's done with the camera.
Don't we have a
Well, I know
contract
the other
here
well,
for
once in a while we should-
somebody to video
We
something?
couldn't clean them and
Yeah.
That's a.
then they don't,
I don't even
you know,
wanna
they get corroded in there. and
The thing
pretty
about
soon
it
they
is
don't work
I
right.
think
You know,
that,
that's what happened
you
to
know,
the
it's
old
up to
well.
them to clean the
trouble
thing
with
for
it,
us, it's
so.
up to them to tell us that it's clean, and if they got a camera to do it, why the hell don't they look at it?
I was just thinking that we have a contract for somebody to video different things like that we're paying.
Yeah.
Holy
How
cow.
long?
Chris, why don't you check, see how long it's been?
That'd be a
It
good
probably
idea.
wouldn't be
That's a
all
very
bad
good
to do it
idea.
if it was,
I mean, then maybe we could save that $1,000.
I don't know about
I'm
the
sure if-
$990, but
Well, it might not cost us.
I'm sure if Rick was in here, he'd be able to tell us how long ago it was.
Well, when did we have that one done? It was right after I was mayor.
I don't know, we have.
And that's the one that told us the well was shot, and that's when we started proceeding on
That's
that.
probably.
No, that's the old one.
Yeah,
That's well number 2.
Yeah.
It was.
But we had to do it again.
It was 3 years
John
ago,
was
maybe 4
satisfied.
years ago already. I'm not sure. It's been a while.
I know it's been a hell of a while.
well, they get limed up and then they don't,
See, now, let's
The
think,
water
let's
don't
think
sink.
about this for a little bit, because I was here, and they were gonna try to AquaJet number 2, right? Was it AquaJet or was it something else?
Those are gonna,
well, we can't put the
They're gonna
acid down
blast it.
anymore because the two
They were
wells
gonna
are too close
aquajet it because they
together.
were
You
too
wouldn't
close together.
You wouldn't have
So they
been here,
couldn't-
because we watched that video upstairs,
Watch the
remember?
video, well, I thought
Yeah,
it was up
but
there.
they couldn't chemical it because those two were too close together.
Right, right.
So they were gonna do something different than that.
Yeah, they were just gonna,
And that
blow
was,
it out.
that was $7,700 if I remember,
They had-
$7,800.
I don't remember at that time what it was, what the
I
cost
don't
was.
remember what it was, no.
But I
Yeah,
remember we
here,
watched
here
that
they either
video.
gotta brush it, or they're gonna have to brush it, or they're gonna have to
Did
use
he
the
leave or
explosion
something?
deal to, right, Joe, to
His phone rang.
Loosen stuff up?
clean it up, yeah.
His phone rang, so I bet he left.
Yeah, he's outside.
But see, this says here that the process will take 10 to 12 hours. So the way it looks to me, we could do this without shutting the water off to the town.
Right.
And then while he's out there looking at that, the next one, the one to the south there, is the exact same thing.
Same price.
Same price, same time, same.
You think if you'd have it done too, you might get a little better deal, but evidently not, huh?
I didn't ask him that question.
Well, maybe that's, maybe.
You know what I mean, being they're up here,
Yeah.
sometimes you
They
might
can
be
just
able
have their
to,
equipment and do it the
might
next
be able to
day.
negotiate a situation there.
But maybe that's why you put both of them under together, that he was giving you a better deal to start with too.
Yeah, it could be, I don't know.
Might have been higher for one, just doing one.
I just don't, you know, that $990
$7,000 or 77, like,
for that survey and really
Yeah, I don't know.
stuck out to me.
just everybody else.
Well, why don't you just do some checking on
Why
that,
do we even
Chris?
have,
and-
why would we have to chlorinate that second one? South one, it's not tap water.
Is it chlorinated, does it say?
No.
No, it does say chlorination, it's $85.
I don't know why you need to do it.
Rick will be back in just a few minutes.
Not that it's a big cost, only 85 bucks.
Yeah, it's too bad, that's not $1,000.
85 bucks is 85 bucks.
So,
Pay my wages for a week.
I guess if we tell them we don't want the video survey, they'll say, well, then it'll cost
Huh?
$2,800,
I'm gonna not touch that one.
or $2,955.
See how many years it's been, we'll make an idea whether we should be doing this. If it's not doing the job, we probably should look at it.
You remember, Ray, when we did that? I thought that was right after I became mayor.
I thought it was 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, actually.
That's
It might
what
have
I
been just
thought.
right
I
after
think
you-
we've done it since I've been on the council,
You've been on, what, 6 years?
6 years.
I don't know, I did it since I've been on it.
Because we went up, we watched that video upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the old
Right
one.
next to the water.
That had nothing to do with our well.
Oh, it didn't?
No,
No,
Okay, I thought it did.
no.
that was when we made the decision to dig the other one.
Abandon that
'cause
one
was
basically
done.
and gotta make another one.
Now we're talking about cleaning that though?
That got him involved.
Sure, and
Did
then
everything, what the hell?
that costs us money.
$500,000 later, here we are.
Yeah.
Still trying to get the damn well clean.
Yeah,
Oh, shit. I don't know, we gotta do this one down here, I'm sure that one needs it too. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's worse than this one,
Yeah.
as far as
That's
rust
what it-
goes.
That's what it says on the,
We gotta do, yeah, we gotta do both of them, really.
says that one.
But
the
just
south
tell them
one's
we'll give you
running-
$10,000, you don't have to chlorinate, or you don't have to video.
and maybe we can get a better deal, you never know, see what happens.
I can-
10,000 bucks for both of them. You don't have to video, you don't have to chlorinate the south one.
I like Rob's idea though. I think we should ask them why we have to pay for the videoing if they wanna know.
They don't
You
care,
would think that they would want the documentation on file.
Yeah.
they don't care, they're just gonna do it. Just like they run down your sewer and say it's clean, how you gonna know unless you put a camera up it?
But then they have no documentation to back them up.
So,
No.
how do they care? They got paid for their job and they're done.
If you come back on them, don't say it wasn't any
They
good.
did the best they could do.
Do we need a motion? I'd make a motion that we
Oh, here comes
There
Rick.
goes Rick.
talk to Rick.
Everybody gonna second that motion?
Yeah, I was gonna say second.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call vote, Gary wants right.
So Rick, we're talking about the
Wells.
two wells and the pumps and that, Derek came up here and looked at them and said that we should do some maintenance on them. We're wondering a little bit about the video survey. They want $1,000 for each well to video survey it. What do we need that for? Do they use that to tell if it's clean, or will we use that?
Screen and see what's for part. We did that at one time.
Yeah.
On the old well, I don't know if we did the new,
Never did the new one, we did the old
It's
one.
the old one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's when we had to know there was a hole in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're wondering is that more for their benefit, or is it more for our benefit? I mean, for $2,000
Everybody
bucks,
involved, I'm sure, but
do we need it done?
To see, probably to see where it's the worst, where it's plugged the worst. For footages to tell where the jetted the most, I suppose.
Would you recommend that we do it then?
Well, see, my
I would think
my
they'd
feeling
just
on
have
it
the
is
whole thing.
we hire them to clean the well, clean it. If you gotta use your video camera, do it, but clean the well, you know? You've got this sophisticated equipment to do it with. Hell, don't tell me that I gotta pay for a video survey just so you can clean our well, you know?
Especially $1,000.
I guess I don't get that part of it. Why don't they just clean the well and use their video survey?
their
That way-
video
that way if
couldn't
we've got a
check what kind of
pitch-
job they did, but
I agree with Rob. That way, if we've got a bitch,
They can look at it and see where
hey,
they gotta do
looky
it,
here,
then they can
this
look at
here's
it
my
and see what they
video.
did, you know, I understand all that, they can use the video equipment, but I just don't, I guess, maybe that's just one of the charges they throw in there, rather than saying it's gonna cost you $2,900 to clean the well, you know?
Yeah.
They separate it out in different pieces like that, maybe, I don't know, but.
Do you remember how long since we done them wells?
They got their labor to pull and set
I
this
think
up,
it
and
was-
then the treatment, they got,
Was it
they
2 years
got that
ago, Chris?
separate.
We looked that up that here a while back, didn't we?
In the old well, I think it was 4 years ago.
No, Rick, 2 years
We
ago,
did the new one.
2 years
We did
ago,
the new
we
one.
had Lane Christensen come in and try to do well number 2. So,
Oh, yeah.
cause
They were gonna
number,
camera it, weren't
well
they?
number 2 is our backup well right now, and it pumps like 50 gallon a minute, and that's not even close to what we use. So, we've never done this since I've been here.
Oh, we never, okay, we haven't jetted the new one. That's right.
Yeah, see, you get, every so many years, Joe, it's a good idea to do it, right?
didn't we jet that once
I
though?
suppose
They
the
couldn't-
carriers that.
We jetted it.
We jetted
We
it
jetted that
once.
new one before because we couldn't chemical treatment,
Right,
treat it.
yep. Because we tried to get
Because we
it up.
couldn't, you didn't have another well.
It worked, it got us up to.
Right,
It brought us up about from 220 or something.
we've jetted that before.
2 to 3, or, brought us up from like
350,
280 to
something like
380
Yeah.
gallons
We
per
did
minute
it.
by doing it.
100 gallons a minute, that
That's
roughly,
quite a
huh?
bit.
Yeah.
And for a while, after we did that, the filter was keeping up with our pumps on the high service pumps in the filter plant. Which it fills the tank, and then, you know how
Yeah.
it works. And then when the tank goes down so far, then this one's gotta shut off for this one to catch back up. And when we did that, it just ran continuous.
Really? That's pretty good.
Yeah. Before we had to throttle the one down to keep it up with it. The high service pump, we throttled back to keep
I remember that.
the filter full.
I remember that, throttling it down.
Yeah, which isn't a good thing to do. And then we put them 2 new high service pumps in, and it's been running really well, but we've been pumping a
Oh, well, we
crap
should.
load of water in the last year too. Now we're down to,
How about I talk to Sergeant and find out about the survey cost? And then bring it back.
And see what they'll do for 2 wells, just give them a little,
in the WIE well, we'll have to get hold of WIE and see when they're gonna do a service shutdown to do some service work on their plant, because they will not let us do it.
They just, I think
They
they
have
just
that
shut
big-
down not so long ago,
What do
didn't
they
they?
have that big ass tank there for?
Fire.
yeah, they don't
You
use that
can't
water.
use that at all?
I
That's
never,
all they use it for.
They gotta hold so much water.
Yeah, I understand
at any given
that.
time for fire prevention.
But why couldn't they use that while the well's down?
They can, but that, they have to maintain a certain level in there
Oh,
while they do it.
I talked to
I
Kevin
want-
Barrett, and Kevin told me that after the first of the year, they think they may have some scheduled maintenance that they have to do, but it won't be before then. And he thought that if we, this is talking about a different subject, but if we let them know, then they could have a water tank ready to go and fill their tank as needed, so.
So you want Chris to bring some more information to the table and
Right.
to see what we wanna do on that? To see what they're gonna do for 2 wells? Daryl?
we should get at least some kind of a setup fee. I mean.
No.
if you're doing 2, you should get a better deal than
Come
1.
here, they should be able to give you a little better deal.
Yeah.
You only got one setup fee if you do the video stuff, you know, it's,
Well, I can talk to him a little more. I didn't actually get to talk to Derek. I
I'm more
talked to the
concerned about our
secretary.
well than theirs,
Right.
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as the videoing. Theirs, you know, just clean it up as good as you can.
What's it
Go
saying,
with it.
labor to pull and set pump, well, they gotta pull the pump out, then they gotta reset it again afterwards, I think that's what that.
Yeah, you just pull it out and then send the jetter down and
Yeah.
drop the pump back in, you're
And then
done.
they gotta drain all the water off. That is, all the
That the
stuff they.
sludge.
Al?
Which takes a while.
You pump that out, just pump it out on the ground then with the well, or how do they do that? They use their own pump? They use our well pump, or they use their own pump to pump that sludge?
Use their own, I thought you told me,
So
Rick.
they use their own.
They do, I think
I'll
they
tell
do.
you what,
I would think they'd use their
if they
own.
use acid, don't call the DNR, just do it and run around.
Well, they're
the
not
ground and
using
forget
it.
it.
I was wondering if they did, then you just pump it outside down by the well, the well
Yeah,
house.
they can't pump it right straight into a creek, they have to catch it, and let the rust settle off.
Can't do
Really?
that.
Yeah, DNR won't allow that.
So do they bring a truck for that?
No, what they did is they pumped it underground, and they plug that tile down there.
Where'd it go?
Settle out underground.
Yeah, we're just kidding about that.
Which is really stupid, because they want to raise it, just wash it down.
Wash it down.
But they won't allow you to do it.
Let's see if they can knock some off of it. As far as a video, and I don't know, I wouldn't mind doing ours, it's never been done, right? I don't think we've ever videoed that well
Well, I
through.
think we gotta do both of them anyway, we just started
Yeah.
getting the pricing.
I mean, video and,
Tell them to throw that in as a freebie, Chris.
But if they can't do it out there until after the first of the year sometime, then might as well do both at the same time.
I think they should do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the only way they
Probably
can
get a
knock
better
down any
deal.
money
Yeah.
anyway.
Hell, they gotta drive all the way up and do it, you
I
know.
wouldn't expect them to come down if they're gonna come one well at a time.
Okay.
They should come down.
Anything else you wanna add, Rick? Any questions for Rick before we move on? Okay, let's move on to discuss approve resolution 2013-18, a resolution approving project in the Wall Lake Commercial Industrial Urban Renewal Area.
Okay, this resolution was on the last meeting, but we couldn't do anything with it because I did not have enough information in here for you guys to make a decision on. So what this resolution does is anytime, you know, we've got a plan now for our commercial TIF area. So anytime that we want to do a project, like whether it's the street or the gas project, gas hookup to CPS or whatever project we choose, we should do this resolution. And basically what this resolution says is that we have decided that this is a good project to use TIF dollars on.
$10 for it.
And we, as a city council, resolved that we're gonna do this. So, I mean, you can read through here, but in section 2 there, it's got a place where you put the cost, that's the $50,000. And what this particular resolution is talking about is the purchase of the 3 lots from Corn Belt. And the reason I put 50,000 in there is because it's up to 50,000. We're gonna talk about $45,000 for the lots, and then we also have to pay the attorney fees to do the purchase. So that'll cost $1,000 or so, or $1,500 or whatever it'll be. So
Okay, now, you say it's directed that 50,000 be advanced from time to time, did you say up to 50, or you're saying?
Up to 50.
yeah, and basically what that's saying there, Ray, is that we're gonna advance money
Yeah,
from the
From
electric fund.
yeah, from time to time,
Yeah, and I don't know why it says from time to time. I read that too, and I guess I don't understand what that means, but this is what Pat Martin gave me, and this is the
Well, it doesn't tie you just to the 50,000.
and yeah, it doesn't tell you at one time, I don't think, but
No,
No.
from time to time, it says so.
yeah, this also is saying that we're
You can do it
gonna
more often now.
pay for the money out of our utility accounts, so that we have to transfer the money from our electric fund to our general fund, then from our general fund to our TIF fund, and then pay for it.
Is that about $10,000 a lot they want then?
15. There's three lots there. And that's what they say they've got in it. So, then on the second page there, it talks about, project costs incurred through an advance of 50,000 are hereby approved.
What page on there?
We can,
41.
41, okay.
yeah. And we can change this. The reason why I put electric fund in there is because we also, if we're gonna transfer money out of an electric account, out of a gas account, a water account, we have to have 3 months worth of expenses in that account. So if we're gonna do it this month, then we had to take September, August, and July, add those expenses up, and we have to have that amount in our account plus whatever it is that we're gonna transfer. So, and on our electric account, we've got that easily. We've got 320,000 in there roughly.
So you didn't choose the gas fund.
We couldn't do that in the gas fund. We have 217,000 roughly in the gas fund, and our expenses have been 70,000, or no, 65,000 sort of. So we had
a stretch.
We had $23,000 left over after we paid all of our expenses for the last 3 months. So it wasn't the
Can't make it.
50,000, no.
Okay, any other questions, discussion, council?
We do not have to approve this at this meeting. We can talk about it. We could approve it, if the lots are something that you guys wanna do, we could approve it
I
in
move we approve it.
I do too.
What is it? 2000,
13-18, Darryl.
2013-18.
Second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to accept resolution 2013-18, a resolution approving project in the Wall Lake Commercial Industrial Urban Renewal Area. Roll call vote, Gary. Yes. Rob.
Yes.
Darryl.
Yes.
Francis is absent. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So, now at the next meeting, we're gonna have to do 2 more resolutions, and that's to transfer the money from our electric account to the general fund, and from the general fund to the TIF account, so.
And then it'll come back from the TIF back into our account after.
Yeah, what we have to
And
do
then-
is certify it
Gotta
this
share it
year.
all the way around.
We have to
We have to incur the
Certify.
debt and certify it,
Come right
borrow
around
the money
circle.
from our electric, and then next year we'll get it paid back.
And it's gotta be done prior to December 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, just
The
gotta make a big
certification.
circle.
So we really have to time this, because on November 11th, we're gonna approve our plan, which says we wanna buy 3 lots, okay?
Yep.
So then after November 12th, or 11th, we have to write a check to
Corn Belt.
Corn Belt, so we've incurred the debt, and then on December 1st, we have to certify that debt.
Certify the debt.
So we have to put that all together, and then when we get our taxes in a year, we'll
Because we've
get
got
that
the
money
plan
back.
put together, we've got the debt put together, we've certified the debt.
You follow? Back. Oh,
Then we'll
I
get
got
the
it.
taxes back.
Okay.
I got
Gotta
that.
So,
record this at the courthouse.
That meting that we went to in Des Moines, that was a very
they'll
good meeting.
record all
I
that
said we have
stuff.
to record this at the courthouse and
Yes,
everything, so it's
yes,
certified, yeah.
Yes. Okay, discuss approve resolution 2013-20, the resolution establishing fees, rates, and charges for various permits, miscellaneous charges for the city of Wall Lake. Attached
So-
to list of duty, fees,
Yeah,
utility fees.
we talked about this at the last meeting also, and
Thanks, Joe. Good night. Have a good drive. Drive safe.
what I neglected to tell you guys, forgot to tell you guys, was that, and I don't know what page we're on either. I would guess it would be close to 50.
What, the fee list?
2013-20,
Just above that, yeah, 2013-20, 54.
54.
So the fee rate that we approved at the last meeting, we actually have to have a resolution to do that. So
Right.
we've already approved this. It's the same exact list that you looked at the last meeting. All this resolution is saying is that we as a city council approved this fee list, and that's why I put on there attached as Exhibit A, the fee list here. So basically all we need is a
Motion.
motion and a second to approve this.
Okay, I move we approve resolution, 2013-20.
Second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2013-20, a resolution establishing fees, rates, and charges for various permits and miscellaneous charges for the city of Wall Lake. Roll call vote. Gary?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Franny's absent. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, public forum. Rob and I are no, because we're down here for a opening meeting, but the rest of the council should know that we are having auditors go through the books. All they're doing is checking accounting practices, correct, Chris?
Right, it's more of an examination really than an audit.
Correct.
So,
We had a,
we've discussed this, that, you know, we can have these examinations, we have to have an examination every year, but we can have these every 2 or 3 years, and then we should have an audit. Cause that's what we would be required to do, is have an audit every 4 years. Anyway.
This is being done by the state of Iowa.
Right.
If you have any questions for either myself or Rob or Chris, go ahead and ask.
I can make a copy of it. I'll throw it in there.
There's an exit meeting that they would like to have with Rob and I and Chris, and they'll tell us if they found any errors or corrections that need to be made, or
And they'll find some.
and they'll make suggestions.
Yeah, then they'll make suggestions and they'll write it up and we'll
He,
give it to you
you
guys.
can ask Rob, but the way that Tyler sounded, he was very pleased at the way things were running so far, didn't
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was off balance at all.
he? 2 young guys, I'll tell you that.
Very young.
Very young.
They look like kids.
Whatever, yeah.
He told,
Younger than Chris. How
he
about
told
that?
me, he told me that,
Ask him
that
how he gets a job like that.
with all these examinations that they have to do, they've been hiring people left and right, so. He's been here for a year and the younger kid over there had been there for a couple of months is all, so,
And they're used to doing counties and not cities,
yeah.
so
So the only thing that I've got as far as the public forum goes is the next meeting on November 11th. That's the stag night. So we've already got a public hearing scheduled for 7 o'clock, so we've got to be here at 7 o'clock to do that. And then after that, we'll have to approve a resolution. So I mean, and that won't take very long. What time's the stag start? 6:30?
6,
6:30.
Oh, was it 6?
6:30.
somewhere in there.
Okay.
Before, we'd always started at 5. As far as I know, we've always started, when we had the stag meeting, we'd always start at 5.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I don't.
So I know last time we started at 5.
5 o'clock, yeah.
And we still had a resolution, we had to come back down there.
Yeah, we
for.
did, yep. Any problem with that, council?
I don't have any problem with
You
He had a couple
you
other
want a
things
motion, or can we just do that we're gonna change the
No.
meeting time?
Yeah, we'll just change it and we'll post it just like we do
Okay,
everything else. So
5 o'clock, dear. Anything else?
that. He had a couple other things at the bottom, there was 25.
Anything on,
2,500.
working for projects for the town, you wanna discuss a little of that?
Natural gas hookup.
Like clean up, send letters
what's
out.
going on here? I don't know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about this first.
Yeah.
At the very end there, I do have a sheet of a couple of things to talk about. The transformer that we ordered should be here next week sometime. TNR is talking about. They're going to get it in the shop this week, and then they should be able to have it down here next week. I'll know more Friday. And then I don't know. I mean, you guys may know about this. You may not. I think we've talked about it, but the natural gas hookup at CPS is going to be put on the back burner. They had some issues at another plant, and so they want to really look at all their options as far as natural gas goes before they hook it up. So, but in good light, we got that put on in our TIF plan. So if we do it, we can pay for it with TIF money. So.
One other thing is, you sent us an email that they're having a Sac County League City meeting here
Right.
next month.
Yeah.
who we have, what kind of program are we setting up so far? Or anything?
Yeah, we have got a couple of responses to that. We had one person ask about a business in town coming and talking, you know, so we can show off one of our businesses. Another person asked about the wind generator and said they've never heard the story of the wind generator. Did you have an idea? I can't remember if you sent me an email.
I did, I sent you two of them.
I've got a folder with the ideas in there. Do you guys have any other?
I'd have to go back and look.
I would, you know, I was just thinking the other day about, if we had somebody who wanted to, start a business in Wall Lake, what would they do? Where would they start?
So have somebody come in,
Okay.
and not necessarily the person who wants to start a business, but somebody that's done that before.
Yeah, or maybe somebody from the
Economic
industrial, yeah.
Region 12 or whatever?
Or the Wall Lake Industrial Corp, you know.
John Morrow.
Well, okay, I didn't know if this is for the Sac County League Cities, that's why I wanted to go into.
No, that's not really a bad idea though, Ray, because that could tell other people who want to start a business, you know, this is how you get started.
Well, how did,
Babco?
yeah, no, down here, took over Roder's building.
Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald.
Well, that come into the TIF deal, but
Come through
Yeah, no, but how did he get interested in down here? How did he
Through
get
the,
started?
through the economic development.
Was that with Sac City?
No, that was through, I think.
We have an economic development committee, and then we
That
have
was-
the Wall Lake Industrial
Yeah.
Corp too.
That was through Orly at that time.
Yeah.
He knew some of the guys working over there, Breda, that worked for.
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Having
it's
Mark Segabart come and talk about
That was mine. That
the
was
shutdown.
uh,
one. And then,
that wouldn't be all bad, having
Yeah.
Mark up there.
just- Yeah, that wouldn't either.
I thought I had two.
Well, we've got, November 14th is the date.
No, Wednesday, ain't it?
No, I changed it from Wednesday, cause there's church on that night. Sometimes I can't make it,
Okay.
sometimes
Okay,
Rob can't
Thursday.
make it.
I think we gotta tell, Mel. I thought I told her November 13th, so we'll have to call her and let her know.
Down the meeting then.
So we've got a little more time to
Yeah.
figure out what we wanna do.
We'd like to have Mark Segard here.
Well, not too
I
much,
can-
because I ain't that far
Gotta
away.
get a hold of him right away though, otherwise I'm sure he'll be booked solid and tight.
I've got his email, so I can send him an email tomorrow if that's what you guys wanna do.
Copy me in.
Well, it's something to think about, unless you can come up with something better.
Well, that was
other
my
ideas.
proposal, is that
Yeah.
what was the economic downturn or upturn to the government shutdown for the county of Sac? That's what I was thinking about.
Or his district.
Or his district, yeah, that's a good idea.
His district,
Yeah,
his
you probably
district.
know that a little
No problem.
Well, you gotta throw that in
Okay,
there,
does
too,
he,
otherwise you can't run enough talk about
does he
it.
have all of Sac County?
Yes.
He has all the SAC, all the
Okay,
BV, all the
That's
Carroll.
Wortman and, who's the other one?
Now,
See you, Ron.
Worthen doesn't have all the SAC.
No, he doesn't have all Sac, that's right.
See you, Ron.
Doesn't he have part of Woodbury? No, huh?
No,
No, he's got part of Crawford,
Crawford, okay.
because that's where he lives.
see about that. Well, Mulebauer's got,
Yeah,
He
he's
comes
a, he's a, see, now,
He comes from
Segbart's a
Sac County.
senator.
Mulebauer comes into Sac County too, doesn't he? Not.
Yeah, he's a representative. He's
Yeah,
got
he's representative.
Auburn and Lakeview.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, he came down in some Sac.
Yeah.
I'll send him an email tomorrow and ask him the question, and I'll copy all you guys on it so you can.
Well, I tell you what, Rob's got a great idea too, because I'm sure there are other cities in Sac County that are looking at, if there is a business that's interested in moving to a city, whether it be Lytton, Sac, Wall Lake, Lakeview, whoever it is, how do they get started? Who do they contact? What's their proper procedure? That's a good idea.
I guess
Well,
we could wait for.
We can't get Shirley no more to give us all that info.
Well, when we bought in WIE, that might be, I don't know who had the biggest hand in doing that.
I thought that was
I'd
Tommy.
say
wasn't it?
Warren and Tommy had a pretty big hand in it.
No, Shirley or whoever, or the electric company up there is one of the,
Or even a.
was the big was it REC?
I think Tommy was one of the biggest.
Tommy.
Wine here and diners.
Well, once he got a hold of it, got it going, yeah.
Anything else?
No, too late to discuss cleaning up the town, so we'll do another meeting, huh?
Yeah, well, I won't talk to you about that.
Yeah. Well, it's something that we can think about. Well, Chris had some ideas, so.
How's Mark getting along, pretty good? I haven't talked to him for a while.
You know, yeah, he gets along all right, and then he gets wore down. Rick works with him. Rick works with him more than I do, but sometimes you see him come in here and he just looks like he's shot, and so.
One day he's good, next day he's good.
How you come on moving the line pretty well, trenched in, you just gotta hook it up, huh?
Done with it, if it weren't for this water.
Yeah, we did really good until we had 2 water leaks on a Wednesday.
Boy, yeah, we really did that, didn't we?
Well, we had
I move we
one the day
adjourn.
before, though, too.
Second?
No, they're both the same.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Meeting adjourned.
Okay,
Chris.
Tuesday?
Turn that
Is that up there? Oh, okay, I need to do that.